From the Keith Vincent Kalo Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Hour Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, the Book of Revelations. And now your host, JC3.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout at adamandeve.com. Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is This Real?
Tonight's episode, as you heard Big Joe say at the beginning, we were talking about the Book of Revelation.
Thank you.
Fuck you, Anthony. In the booth tonight, who we have the Pope himself.
I'm at the Pope.
We have Big Joe.
Hello, he's at the Pope.
And the first time in a couple weeks, we have Joshua behind the series. Say hello, Joshua, Roadblock.
Hey,
Lord
yo.
Roadblockington.
Yeah, that's right. Get it right. Lord. Hey, yo. What's up, everybody?
And, you know, not to mention, but in my defense, I'm watching the screen here, and it says Revelations. I was informed by the guy who tells all the tales in the building, him, that this is the Book of Revelation.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I feel shame.
Don't feel shame. Don't feel shame. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Book of Revelation. Let's just put it like this. Hello, we have people behind the scene. Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
It says Revelations.
It's a V. It's not a B. It's a V. It's the font.
I think we
Jesus
need somebody
Christ.
better with graphic arts in this place.
Anywho, so what do we know about the Book of Revelation? What?
I said before, I'm gonna, instead of offering up my teaching and thought and everything else that I know, I'm gonna let Anthony, and I'm gonna go off of Anthony. And when I see when he's not correct, I kick him in the leg.
That's not fair.
I have my knife.
That's enough out of you. No. The Book of Revelation is the last book of the Bible, yes?
Yes.
We can at least start there. We agree that that's what it is.
The final book of the New Testament.
Correct. What is the content of the Book of Revelation?
Fire and brimstone
What is its purpose?
to scare you.
You have no idea.
I'm going. Look.
Have you ever read the Book of Revelation?
Nope.
I read. I can't. I didn't. Fuck it. I didn't read the
Hold
whole
on,
thing.
Joshua. Have you ever read the Book of Revelation?
No.
Have you even touched the Bible?
Not since I went to Sunday school.
I think he needed a coaster at one point. He put something on top of it. But I don't
He
think
has a
ever read it.
coaster.
No, I'm talking about the Bible itself. He would,
Oh, okay. I mean, the last
I
time
chucked that shit out my window. What the fuck
the
are you
last
talking
time
about?
he touched the Bible, his hand burned.
Well, yeah, because I was too busy flirting with the chicks in Sunday school. So, yeah. I was burning in the back.
Burning in the back.
Okay.
Okay, so this says this is from NPR. Not we're not.
It's not Wikipedia.
Sponsored. It's not Wikipedia. Not Wikipedia. So in New Testament, the Book of Revelation is the final book of the New Testament, has some of the most dramatic and frightening language in the Bible. This is about someone who wrote a book about the Book of Revelation. Oh my God, she has revelations on here. Revelation.
I understand how it's spelled, but it's not the way it is in the Bible.
It's by Elaine Page, and she says the Book of Revelation fascinates me because it's very different than anything else you find in the New Testament. There's no moral sermons or ethical ideas or edifying things. It's all visions. That's why it appeals so much to artists and musicians and poets throughout the century.
It's very poetic. It absolutely is. It's full of great imaginary motifs, ideas, wonderful imagery. But none of the Book of Revelation is about what's happening in 2024. It's not a prophecy of the end times that we have to worry about. That's not what the book is.
Have you heard around the world are hearing trumpets in the sky and they can't figure out what it was? Only one time there was an explanation. The building was so high that the wind was whipping off the glass and it caused like a trumpet sound. But there's trumpet noise everywhere in the world. Detroit, Chicago, Arizona, and no one can figure out what this is.
That means
Continue.
they just haven't figured it out yet. There's a reason.
What if it's the beginning of end times?
That's not what the Book of Revelation was about, though.
What was it about?
The Book of Revelation was first of all, who was the book written by? Who had the revelation?
What was written by God?
No, it wasn't written by God.
Was it by revelation?
No.
All right, please forward the author's name.
The author.
He's not wrong. The author's name is John of Patmos, Greek. The problem is a lot of people think that it could be also Saint John, the apostle, the one who followed Christ around, right? There is an argument about that because there's two different camps based off of how it was written and what style of ancient Greek, because there is a difference between how it was originally written versus how Saint John's Gospel is written in that style Greek versus the Book of Revelation in that style Greek, and the styles don't match. So there's progression. The idea is one was written before the other one by a long time. And we all know that the Bible wasn't written by anybody. It was written, well, not in the sense of it wasn't authored by Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. It was word of mouth stories passed down for a couple hundred years before someone finally put it to paper.
That's true. Yes.
So
he's right.
The Book of Revelation, first of all, was a letter to 7 churches in Asia. In fact, I don't remember all of them, but I remember one of them. His name is Philadelphia.
Well, in here, it's the Book of Revelation is not a secret code or puzzle to predict the end of the world. It's message to 7 ancient churches who are facing persecution. It's an indictment of earthly kingdoms that makes that point that every human kingdom eventually becomes Babylon and must be resisted.
Correct.
It's
a warning.
The book is filled with visions and images that point to Jesus' return as the ultimate king, where he will restore his people and usher in the new creation. This promise motivates every generation of God's people to remain faithful in the midst of persecution and hardship.
And that's what the Book of Revelation is about. It was, at its core, the same thing that every prophecy is about. It's about fear and it's about control. Now, John, whether it was John, the one who followed Jesus around, or John of Patmos, it's up for debate. We're not really sure. Either way, this was a vision that he had. And he decided to write to these churches because he was saying that, listen, they're going to persecute us again because we follow Christians. We're Christians now. We're no longer, we're following this new belief in Jesus Christ. And if you don't convert your ways, it's not going to end well for you. Just like, you know how they had, in the Bible, you have the, Peter's letter to the Corinthians. It's a good thing they signed for that letter. They were very busy about their leather that day. And it's a good thing someone signed. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been in the Bible. But that's exactly.
We might get Dad to punch Anthony on camera tonight.
That's what this was. It was a letter to the churches. So when you think of it in that context, he wasn't writing about the end times in 2024. He was writing about what was happening in the world that he was living in, the first century after Christ's death.
No, I agree with you. I mean. Dad, what are your take?
The minute you start, look, my whole thing about the Book of Revelation, sins, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it does. It does come across as trying to make men afraid. Okay, and you could argue that the Bible is there to make men afraid, to keep them in line, keep them in control. I understand that, but there's no proof of that. There is no proof that this was written for that.
I want to take a different take on the Bible, and I've said this in many TikToks to the holy people that come at us on fucking TikTok. I don't think it's more to scare people. I think it's a moral code to keep us like, this is what it means to be a good person,
a good Christian.
But I'll jump. I'll actually channel him for a second, and he's going to say, "You're absolutely right, but it was written by man, and he shouldn't be the one to tell you how to be moral, because no one."
Well, he doesn't believe in morals, so
whatever. The point I'm trying to make is, this is all coming out of a belief. You got to believe it one way or another. Now, you choose not to, and that's fine. It's your belief.
Right.
There's millions that choose to believe it.
That's not. I don't think this is an argument of belief right now. Like, just the foundations of where this book came from. Right.
That you're really not 100% sure of.
No, that we do know we have 100% sure of, because we have the text of which they were derived from initially. Once upon a time, every story in the Bible was written on a piece of paper, whether it was papyrus or it was some sort of,
lamb skin,
something. And then all of those things were gathered, and they were argued and then said, this is what we want to put into the book, and say, this is the official canon. This is what we want to use the most. And the book of Revelation almost didn't make almost didn't make it into the Bible. The only reason it was made into the Bible was because there was a priest in Egypt, which I have written down here. Forgot his name. Justin Martyr, middle of the 2nd century. Oh, sorry. No, that's the guy who said it was John the Baptist, or John of Patmos. He was the first one. So, it was from Alexandria. I'm not going to say his name right, but this is the 4th century. When Rome legalized Christianity and started becoming a Christian nation, this priest in Alexandria put this book of Revelation into the world, and he said that, hey, listen, I'm a leader of this church, and all of you guys around here who are in Northern Africa, who want to just do your own thing and study the scriptures on your own, if you do that, you're going to go to hell.
That's it.
That's it. That's essentially it's essentially what he said. He goes, if you don't take your ideas and join and forget them, or at least come to this and join with us, then bad things are going to happen. It was used to control those people, to get them to be a greater part of the church. And this guy from Alexandria, again, I'm going to fuck up his name, but I'm not going to try it. He's the one who unified these people using the book of Revelation as that source of, look, this is what it says. But that was already after, I believe, after the fall of Rome. Because that's what the book of Revelation is about, the fall of Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this person right here says most people think John was writing about the year 90 in the 1st century. That would be 6 years after the death of Jesus, and the eruption of Vesuvius happened in the year 79. Much of what we find in the book of Revelation, couched in the fantastic imagery, are descriptions of events that John were very close: the war of Jerusalem, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, the Roman emperors who were ruling at the time. It seems as though John reacted to that, saying Jesus is coming and he is going to destroy all of this.
That's what this is all about. And this was not so much the idea of, if we destroy them, we will rebuild society in the right way. It was more the idea of, like, if we can't get there, I hope they're punished after they die, which helps begin the idea of a divine punishment post-death, hell.
Yeah,
because they wanted to be there. It's about keeping the faith in Christ. It's about whether you're being persecuted or not. Don't go against Jesus, and keep the faith. That's what the book of Revelation is about in a nutshell, because it was written during a time where Christians were being persecuted and murdered just for being a Christian.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he's right. That is the right thing. I mean, everything that he's saying is whatchamacallit, it's written down. Like, we have proof of what,
Now, what actually made him come up with this imagery? Did he see something? Did he?
Yeah, well, I mean, the idea of just keep the faith. I'm a Christian, and we need to spread the word.
Bad things were happening.
Bad things
just
people
keep
are
the
being
faith.
persecuted.
Jesus is going to come.
If you churches over in Asia don't do this, keep your faith and stand your ground. Don't fold when they come to get you. Remain Christian. That's what the whole letter is about.
All right. So where did he come up with the 7-headed dragon? And did he see this in a dream?
That's the idea where he came from the dream. That this is his vision that God gave to him, that he's sharing with the world, and say, hey, this shit's gonna happen. Dreams. We see crazy shit in our dreams all the time. That doesn't make them real.
Yeah, I'm skinny in one of my dreams.
That's Joey. That's a miracle kind of a dream.
Fuck you.
Your imagination is so wild and vivid.
Shut up.
I can't fathom that.
Shut the fuck up. Joshua, you do have his mic. Like, just put your hand over it and just
trying
be
to
ready.
behave.
Oh, trust me, it's the
Do
same
you want to go to break
thing
now?
as a
Yeah, we are
trigger.
gonna
Because
go
I
to-
could talk about the
We
mark
are-
of the beast and all that shit.
We are going to
afterwards.
go to break. I do want to say that I have the prophetic events of 2024 that were connected to the Book of Revelation.
Go right ahead.
And we'll talk about that after we come from break, all right? So be right back. We're going to, obviously, every show we do, just go listen to some of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, we're just letting you know that we have new merch in our store. Go to greenhourmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenhourmedia.org, or the link in the bio for our first ever logo drop. The Cryptid collection is here. Get your favorite cryptids such as Bigfoot, Mothman, Nessie, the Yeti, or the Jersey Devil on t-shirts, hats, or mugs. You can also get all of our podcast logos on various items as well. Remember, that's greenhourmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenhourmedia.org, or the link in the bio. New episodes of Is This Real drop Sundays at 8. Question everything.
And welcome back to our Book of Revelations episode as we continue this great episode. Now I'm in this camera. We are going to talk about 2024 and its connections. Or let's just talk about the connections with the Book of Revelations in today's time.
Even though the book was not written for today, sure. Let's do that.
There's a lot of okay. So I'm going to read two passages, not from the Bible, but from people that explaining how they believe biblical and prophetic events are happening from the Bible in today's time. So this one is
okay. Let's hear it.
so the question was, the year 2024 holds numerical significance. What do the numbers 2024 symbolize or represent, and how might this influence the events and spiritual climate of the year? He's already looking at me. Can we get a zoom in on just his face right now? I think I have to do that in post. But so the answer for this they're asking. I forgot who this guy is. I don't know his name here, but he goes. There are 24 priests in 1 Chronicles 24. There are 24 elders mentioned in the Book of Revelation. The world is 24,000 miles around, and there are 24 hours in a day. The number 24 has to do with the priesthood, and the number 24 has to do with the priesthood and intercession. It's all about the encircling and protecting power of God, when God Almighty shows up and makes manifest His perfect government. Therefore, 2024 is a year about the throne of King Jesus himself. It's about understanding that Christ is seated and where our place is in that. The priests are the stewards of the kingdom things. The 24th time Joseph appears in Scripture, he is made steward over all of Potiphar's houses. Genesis 39:6, thus he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he did not know what he had except for bread in which he ate. Do you guys want to comment so far? Because there's a little bit more.
I'm trying to make sense of what you're talking about, but
He's
guys,
saying that the number 24 appears a lot in
Right.
the Bible, and because it appears a lot, and it's the year 2024, that means something.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Finish up.
Okay. In Matthew 24:47, Jesus says about a good steward, "Truly I say to you that he will put in charge of all his possessions." All throughout the book of Revelations, we see the 24 elders praying, praising, worshiping, and casting their crowns at the feet of Jesus. They are encircled around the throne of God, interceding and praising him because they see his perfect government made manifest continuously. And he goes on a couple more about the Psalms and Matthew and Mark, but this guy turned around and said, because, there's significant 24, and we're in the year 2024, it becomes the throne of God year, the throne of Jesus.
What about 1924? Doesn't that have any significance? It had 24 in it. What about 1942? It's 24 backwards. Is that the year of something that Antichrist is going to say, do something that, or did it something to say? Or what about 2042? Do we have to wait for that and maybe something hocus pocus will happen? It does, these are coincidences.
Hocus pocus.
It's coincidence. This is interpretation. This is just people looking at this thing and then looking at this thing and going, I think there's a connection here. And they blur the lines so completely that, oh my God, there has to be a connection. That doesn't mean anything. You're drawing conclusions after the fact. And all you're saying essentially is because 24 appears a lot, this year, which is 2024, things are going to happen.
All right, Big Joe.
Well, you know what? Until something happens, it's pure speculation. However, just because someone puts this stuff together, you can't automatically write him off. What you have to do in a situation like that, you got to keep an open mind. You want to frame everything to be hocus pocus. You want to frame it to be this, and you want to frame it to be that, and none of it's true. And I get all that. That's what people that don't believe will do. Doesn't mean you're right.
Agreed.
What it means is, okay, this world has gone on for centuries because we have people that dream. We have people that think. We have people that aren't afraid to speak their mind. We have people that will put stuff into action when it's not the most popular thing to do. But we've gone on, and they have been right. A lot of them have been right. There's been people that have been wrong as well. Okay, you cannot automatically write someone off because they got connections to something what they think might be a connection to, the Bible. You can write it off. You certainly can do that. But wouldn't it be something that maybe, just maybe, they might be right? This can't. It's not to the point where everything is hocus pocus. You can't sit there and say, just because you don't believe in it, that it's automatically hocus pocus. So I mean that's how I look at it. You can feel any way you want, but again, my feelings are mine, and that doesn't make me right. Your feelings are yours, and they don't make you. You can't brush off people just simply because of your feelings. You have to say, you know what? Common sense, maybe it doesn't sound right to me, but to say you're blurring the lines and you're doing this and you're doing that, I can't do that because I want to leave a little bit of room open just in case some of these things are right, and God and Jesus Christ will return, and I want to be prepared for it. I mean, I'm walking on a thin line to begin with, but I want to sit there and I want to say, I do believe. Because if I just completely write it off, Jesus Christ will tell you did not believe in me, therefore you cannot follow me in heaven. So, I'd rather take my chances the other way.
Well, this person goes on.
Anthony, you ignorant slut.
It goes on a couple more things. Joshua, do you want to add anything to that real quick?
No.
Okay, cool. So the person asks, can you provide insight of how individuals and communities can spiritually prepare for the challenges and opportunities that may arise in 2024 based on your prophetic insight? The guy goes, be a person of prayer and intercession. It's 24 elders, 24 priests. Be a good and wise steward of things the Lord has entrusted with you. That comes from Matthew and Genesis. Depend on the deliverance and encircling protection of God Almighty. Steward the covenants you enter into and be sure they line up with the covenants of God. Ring of Fire, Eclipse, and Zechariah. Have a new ear to hear the voice of the Lord this year.
Which you could say for any year. Those are just really good ideas to live by. Why is it so much important in 2024 and not any other year?
That's a good question, because that's the next question. And prepare, because this is something I'm just reading. It's not something we believe in necessarily. So the guy goes, in your prophetic forecast, do you see any specific breakthroughs or advancements in technology, science, or medicine that will have a positive impact on humanity in the year 2024? And he goes, I think that AI and transhumanism are going to make further leaps and bounds this year, and I want to encourage everyone, do not be deceived. The whole trans agenda is a prime example. And let me say this, transgender and transhumanism equals transgression.
Just to cut you off there for a second, maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am. What is transhumanism?
Basically, the same thing as being transgendered. You're not saying that you're one thing or the other. You're in the everything is on a spectrum, and you fall somewhere where you're non-binary, where someone doesn't recognize you, and you are who you are, that type of thing.
Sounds like a little horseshit. But
and he goes on and says, hold on.
Okay.
The demonic goal behind these agendas is to get us to become so trans that we're unredeemable. I believe that's why those who receive the mark in the book of Revelation can no longer be redeemed. They've bent their knee to some sort of DNA technological trans thing where they are no longer sons of Adam, in line and part of the creation of the Antichrist himself. The world is ramping us to Revelation this year. Do you want to comment?
I do. I'll wait for
Be
Go ahead.
prepared.
You can have it first.
Be prepared.
You can have it first.
I absolutely, unequivocally believe in that. I believe in it because, first of all, I mean, I don't care who I offend. I really don't give a shit. I believe that, changing your sex is against the Creator. I do. Now, you can not do that. I believe there's too much satanic stuff that's going on. I think what happens is Satan has now made everybody numb to the fact that, you know what, it's widely accepted. You know what, you just jump on the bandwagon. It's okay. It's okay. And things are being done with this AI stuff, very dangerous stuff, because you can be framed for anything, and it can make you look like you've done it. And with this technology, it's madness.
No, I'm not about the trans thing, but I do agree with the AI thing. I don't think it's going to be the downfall of us. I don't think it's going to be like Terminator. Calm down, Joshua. But I do think that there is going to be problems with it if people just let it be out of control and let it be handled by just the common man.
I think that we've gone so far from decency. I think we've gone so far from you want to say religion, I'll use the word religion, but I want to say what I believe God's plan was for man. I believe that it's getting to the point where we're just numb. It's everybody's doing it. It's fine. You got the government fighting over abortion. You got the government fighting over changing your sexes, and all you hear is, well, you know what? I just want to be what I want to be. You know what? That's fine. You be what you want to be, but there's going to be ramifications. There's going to be, what do you call that? For every action is a reaction. I can't remember the name. Consequence.
Yeah.
There's going to be consequences for your action. Whether you believe it or not, that's fine. But you can't honestly say, now I could be dead wrong. I believe that, yeah, you know what, changing sex is the worst thing that you can do. It's against God's will. He made you this sex, stay it. Abortion, I believe I'm totally against abortion. All right, that's just my views. It doesn't make me right, but it makes me believe that we've gotten so far from our core values, from the core values of what got us to this point, that we have become numb. No one gives a fuck anymore. No one cares about their fellow man. Nobody gives a shit about their own people anymore. And I believe that we are being groomed, and you're having officials that will make it safe for everybody to be groomed.
Now,
that's all.
Before I get into you, Anthony, the grooming thing, if you're confused, I think We've talked about it on this podcast before, as far as the smoke of Satan being infiltrating the Catholic Church and stuff like that. So there's a downfall of religion. There's not a lot of religion, so not a lot of people sit there and, you know, have ideas, or the next generation of Catholics or Christians are just not being there, because obviously we know in our town we only have one Catholic school left. There's
And one church.
So I could see the point, but go on with your rebuttal or what you have to say about with this, because I do have a little more.
You mentioned the mark of the beast, which would be the number 666.
Great song by Iron Maiden.
Very good song by Iron Maiden. You have people today who associate with the mark of the beast being Satan and Leviathan and 666 being his number. It has nothing to do with Satan. There's nothing to do with any of that. 666 was the name for Nero of Rome, Emperor Nero, who was hunting down and murdering Christians in Rome at the time, before Rome became a Christian nation. It is actually called, the process, it's a code, it's called gematria. When you take the sum of the name, each individual letter, you apply a numeral value to it. When you add that up, Nero is 666. Additionally, 616 is also the same thing. It also translates to Nero, which is also in the Bible as another number of the beast.
What about Order 66?
That's something completely different and stupid. Now, when you translate the name Nero, Caesar, from Greek to Hebrew, you get 666. When you translate it from Greek to Latin, you get 616, both of which appear in the Bible. Nothing about the number of the beast has anything to do with Satan. It's about the man who was in charge, who was executing the people that there was for the Christians of Rome. So when you
I did not know that. Thank you for informing me on that one.
when you interpret that, and you go the mark of the beast 666, and you start talking about things that, well, obviously that must correlate to Satan, and then therefore all these things about what we do on earth is Satan inspired. Well, when you don't know where the 666 comes from, what it was originally meant to be, and you go off on that tangent, there's no grounds for that. Like, it doesn't, like, you're interpreting it because you don't understand what 666 meant. So when you start off at the base, well, it's automatically something evil, and then you go into all the other things about it, your entire belief system is based off of something you didn't understand to begin with. The only reason we know that we have, those names, Nero's translated to 666 and 616, is because they were featured in the original writings of John about the book of Revelation. Papyrus 47, Papyrus, I think it was 153, I believe was the other one. No, 115. So those are where the first time it was ever even mentioned, those numbers. And again, when you add in the context that he is writing to these churches in Asia, saying that if you don't stand your ground because the Roman Empire is on your ass, you're going to burn in hell. If you don't understand any of that, then it's very easy to go, well, beast must mean Satan. Satan must mean evil. Evil must mean all the things that we want to associate evil with today. Transgenderism or whatever you want to throw there. It's a blanket term at that point. So no, I can't. They're writing from what they believe in, and I can't tell them that they're wrong for believing in it. But when you have a real world explanation as to why these things exist, and you take that and go, well, I don't know about it, or I'm ignoring it, and I'm going to use that imaginary, beautiful language, and I'm going to associate with this thing. Well, that's what a lot of people start believing. And that's why interpretation without any foundation is dangerous. Because you do get people who turn around and start spewing these things and saying these things. Wipe your nose, you got something on the end of it. And yeah, you're good. And bad shit happens. In the last 5 years, there's 3 of them. 3 major cases where someone killed their entire family because they believed the apocalypse is upon them. that the book of Revelations is coming true. Why would they believe that? Because whoever their spiritual leader is interpreting the book of Revelation as, look at what's happening in 2024. The end times are happening. And out of being afraid, they turn around and they killed their wives. They killed their children. Lori Daybell and her husband got fucking life. Her daughter was 16 and the son was 7. They got life without parole.
Oh, good.
You know?
Welcome.
Let's see. Those are the other ones. Yeah, that January of 2020, Anthony Todd of Florida killed his whole family. He's in jail. June 2015, Christy Stacht from Utah killed her kids. I think she's dead too. I think her husband's name was Benjamin. They killed each other. They killed their family. My point is, when you start off with an interpretation that's completely out of left field, and you start putting the fear into people, people do really wrong things because they're afraid.
Well, real quick before we go into break, he did ask a question, and I'll get your takes on it after we come from break. He goes, are there any warnings or cautions you would like to share with believers regarding potential challenges or pitfalls they may face in 2024? Dad, you listening?
I'm listening.
So he goes, number 1, don't get caught up in the woke mob. Number
Repeat
2.
that.
Don't get caught up in the woke mob. Let's add
Mob.
mob.
Woke mob?
Woke
Okay.
mob.
All right,
Number 2.
Politicizing and religion.
Number 2. Do not partner with an agenda against Israel. It is in covenant with God Almighty, just like we are, and the United States.
Politics and religion.
Number 3. Do not put your head in the lap of media Delilah. I don't know what the hell that is.
Don't believe the media at all.
Yeah, it's Samson and Delilah. When he was laying in her lap, she cut her hair off. His hair was the source of his strength.
And number 4, be resolute to determine your courage and bravery or be on the losing side. This last part, I think we all are going to take an insult, even though it's not about us. Joshua, I want to hear your take after we come back from break. He goes, weak-kneed and limp-wristed leadership is being replaced. Weak-kneed and limp-wristed. That's crazy. We're going to be right back, and then we're going to get everybody's take on what just was said. Please go listen to some of our sponsors. Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented Neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What's that?
No calories,
No
no sugars, no fillers, and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to dubby.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby.
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
And welcome back to our Book of Revelations episode. So I said something before we went to break, and I want to get everybody's take on it, even yours, Joshua. Do you want me to repeat what was said before break?
Make it quick.
Okay, so he goes, what are warnings or cautions you would like to share with believers regarding potential challenges or pitfalls in 2024? He goes, do not get caught in the woke mob. Do not partner with the agenda against Israel. Do not put your head in the lap of the media Delilah. And be resolute and determine your courage and bravery or be on the losing side. Weak-kneed and limp-wristed leadership is being replaced. That is what he said, to be on the right side of good. So we'll start with you, Anthony. What is your take on that?
I think all those points are political based. I think the Bible, my interpretation of the Bible, and I'm not correct in this by any means, but I'm not wrong either. My interpretation of the Bible is more of a guidebook of the good ideas and morals and stories of things the way you should kind of live your life. And really, it comes down to one sentence: treat your neighbor like you want to be treated. It's called the golden rule for a reason. So all this stuff extra, like about, Israel or limp-wristed leadership and all this something like that, comes and goes.
See, I would be more offended if you called him limp-dicked.
Well, that too. My point is, like, you can look at any point in history and go, these things apply. Everything you just mentioned is applicable in 2024. It was applicable 25 years ago, 100 years ago. Like, it's all politics.
Well, before I get to you, the whole Israel agenda thing, I mean, I'm on both sides, not both sides of the villain, let's put it like that. I think they're both wrong. Let's just put it like that. Because they, in my opinion, they've been fighting for thousands of years. They've been massacring, killing each other for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the fucking difference now?
The idea of, like, woke ideology, it's like, that's new.
That is new, yeah.
That's not something that you've been fighting for hundreds and hundreds of years. That's not
Cancel
something.
culture.
Cancel culture is not something that was written with, like, the Bible wasn't being written with cancel culture in mind. Again, this is someone taking 2024 and applying it to the texts that were meant for a different century.
I mean, could you sit there and say that, yes, cancel culture wasn't, like, the term cancel culture wasn't a thing, but something like this has been happening for years?
Cancel culture back then was behead them because I don't like what they said.
Well,
That's the ultimate cancel culture.
That's more extreme than what we have now.
Right.
See, like I said during the break, it's more now is career killing, career murdering. It's not more of like,
and like I told you during,
stone the heathen.
Like I said to you during the commercial, the court of public opinion now weighs more than anything else. You could be arrested for sexual misdemeanor. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. And even if you are proven innocent, there's still a bunch of people out there going, nah, he did that shit. He's a fucking predator. He's a monster. And that person loses their career. That person loses their credibility.
We just saw that with Aaron Rodgers.
To a degree,
not
sure.
Sexual misconduct, but
sure.
that someone said
he was misquoted,
for the Sandy Hook thing. But
now, had Aaron Rodgers doubled down and said, no, I said those things and I believe in that thing, it was all a government cover-up, then cancel him. Then that's what's going to happen. He would be canceled. But I'm talking more of something like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Where
they shit pants herself.
Well, but take that away. Just the idea of, like, she was saying he did this to me. I was sexually assaulted. He raped me. All that. It went to court, and now you have a bunch of people going, I don't know if he did it or not. You have people going, oh no, he was acquitted of that. He was able to prove defamation.
There's a lot of people turning around saying that he did not.
Yeah,
for a fact
he didn't do it, and they have a lot of people going, no, I believe her. You don't a victim never lies type.
That
shit.
doesn't matter because it still ruined his career.
You're right. It did ruin it. It derailed his career. I wouldn't say ruined because he's making movies again, and he's going to make more movies. Or Disney's already going to talk to him about the next pirate movie or whatever the fuck.
No, they're not going forward with him on that one.
Are you sure about that? Last time I heard they're going to talk
with the female cast. They've already casted.
That I heard got canceled.
Like
Yes, the old female one got canceled.
Fuck yeah.
My point is though, you have people who, if you're proven that you're like Louis C.K. He didn't rape anybody. He did something dumb.
Jerked off in front
of people. He jerked off in front of someone, but like for a couple years, he couldn't go anywhere. He made that joke in his one special. He goes, I had to go to fucking Poland because no one here was buying tickets. Like he had, and now you're talking 5 years later, 8 years later, whatever it is. He's touring again. He's got his shit. But at the time, his TV show got canceled. His tour got canceled, and he didn't even lay a finger on the person.
No.
So like you get derailed. You can get derailed as well. My point is, that whole idea of woke ideology, politics with Israel, the limp-wristed leadership, it ultimately says the same thing that the book of Revelation was going for. Stand your ground, keep your faith, we're Christians, even in the eyes of persecution. But no one's being persecuted to be as a Christian in 2024 in this country. No one is being told they're wrong for being a Christian. in America in 2024. I
okay.
can't speak of other places in the world because
Well,
that
no,
does
no.
happen.
I think I think it goes back and forth between both sides. You have people who sit there and like, because we've saw it on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have people who look at us when we talk about the Bible. You and I specifically, because you and I are the only ones that really post on our TikTok.
Sure.
And we specifically post something about the Bible and whether we believe or not.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot of people. Oh, you're wearing a cross. You know, how could you believe that if you're wearing a cross? So that's on one side.
But that's not persecution.
And then you have the other people who turn around and go, well, the Bible's fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. If you believe it, you're fucking stupid.
Still not persecution. That's an opinion. Persecution is you're going after somebody. You're going after them as a group.
They did that. Who was it? Chris Pratt. You know how many people sit there and I'm not gonna go watch Chris Pratt movies because he's a Christian.
He wasn't arrested for being a Christian. That's what I mean when I say persecution.
It's a difference in 2024. Persecution takes a different role in 2024.
Persecution is basically something that happens to people, and it's suggestive. Okay, whether his movie was canceled and underneath it was because he was a Christian. I don't know Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt is a.
He's an actor.
He's an actor who is a very Christian person. You know, I mean, granted, some of the shit he did is weird, but
so is Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
you know, so is the
Mark
guy who played
Wahlberg's not really
Jesus.
going to cancel being a Catholic.
So is the guy who played
Henry Cavill.
Cavill,
right?
That's
he's a
is that the
nerd.
guy that was in the Passion?
He was in the Passion.
Okay, so you got him. So
Henry Cavill.
No, sorry, Jim
Caviezel.
Caviezel, right?
Okay,
right.
it comes in a
Henry
lot of
Cavill
forms.
is
Superman. Yeah, same kind of last name. It fucked me up.
There's different ways of persecuting people.
Now Mel Gibson's different.
Well, Mel Gibson held steady from the beginning. He never changed.
Yeah, but he was.
I'm
also,
gonna make this. I'm gonna make this movie.
I
You
hope you get
like it.
raped by
You
a
like
pack
it.
of-
You don't. You don't. Same thing with the movie about the molesting, about the Hollywood molesting the kids.
Yeah,
he made the
that's-
movie. He said, "Fuck you. I'm gonna do it because I know what I'm talking about."
Jim Caviezel again.
You choose to believe it or you choose not to, and that's fine. And everybody took that attitude. They'd walk away from it and said, "Okay, you know, I don't need to say it." Just like Carlin said for years, you know what? If you got a problem with what's being said, change channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's not happening. So
Well, it's not happening on either side.
you're right,
And that's the
now-
problem. Everybody wants to sit there, and I think that's the problem with 2024. Everybody wants to sit there.
I'd like
and
to address some of
cancel-
those things there because I got a
Yeah,
few things.
it's you know, were you finished?
No, I'm
with
done.
your
Yeah,
point?
I've said pretty much what I need to say.
All right, Anthony.
Okay,
Chad?
now you said one thing before that really sits with me a little bit. You said to me the guy was writing something for the times that he wrote it, and not for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it shouldn't be interpreted as that.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't I hear that with the gun debate? I don't hear that. It was written back then. There was nothing about high-powered rifles, nothing about automatic weapons, nothing. Very simply, you have the right to bear arms, but now these people want to reinterpret it their way. So that's what happens when you have a mentality of the woke mentality. They want to interpret things their way, and it's their way only, and they don't care. And again, like I said before during break, this is going to end up politically, and you agree. You just said that.
Yeah.
Okay. You have an entire group of people that have one thing in mind, and it's 2 words: get Trump. Okay? You have bullshit that's been brought up, and it's proven that it's been bullshit. Okay, to get him.
Hold on, before we get into a Trump.
Well, it's
debate,
not a job. I'm just trying to make my point.
We have to keep on subject here. with the
Okay,
Book of
so
Revelation.
I'm trying to do that.
I mean, not when you go into politics. There's nothing. To do
Like
with
I said to you,
Revelation,
this is
know?
gonna. You brought it up what you read.
No, this guy is interpreting what the Book of Revelations is.
Okay,
And
so
his
I'm
opinion is
answering
spiritual
your
events.
point.
But I don't think Trump has anything to do with that.
Did he say in there something about the media?
Yes.
Yes. He
Okay.
wants, the media to lie.
He's absolutely right. And it goes for everything. I'm not talking about just this media, that media. Every one of them have an agenda. All right?
Yeah.
The narratives were pushed about our former president that were inaccurate and untrue. Don't follow the media. I've been saying it forever. Think for yourself.
You could say the same thing. that
Don't
happens with
allow.
Biden stuff, too.
I'm talking about all of them.
Yeah, that's he's
All right.
what he's saying is right.
Don't
Yeah,
listen to anybody.
I definitely agree with that, at least on the gun debate issue and the way people are interpreting it. that was written, and we do have a right to bear arms, but I think that's more of the politicians pushing, saying that people of our class shouldn't be owning
Because they want to be the only ones to
assault-
own guns.
Yeah, assault rifles and stuff
There
like
was,
that.
there wasn't the another amendment in there towards the end saying, "Listen, we don't know everything, so as times change, please, keep these laws in mind, but adapt to go with the times."
Then adapt.
Which amendment was that? I forget which one.
If that is the
towards
case,
the
then adapt it. All right,
No,
but
I
don't
agree
just
with
try
that.
to change things in midstream. You
Well,
can't do
well,
it.
That's what the. I mean, when you
And that's
if you
only
want to
one
talk
thing.
if you
You
want
want to get into
gun
the
debate, that's what
what this
they're
guy
trying to
said.
do.
This guy has said something about, like he said, the media. I've been saying to you people forever.
Don't lie your head in the media, Delilah. Don't lie your head.
You don't listen to the media. Don't listen to them. You want to get your news of what's going on. You want to go. You want
listen to us.
You don't believe a fucking word anybody
not
on
what
this
I mean.
panel says. Do your own research. You have to think for yourself. If you
agree.
allow to let people manipulate you, they're going to lie to you because of their agenda. Okay, we have a whole political system that's so fucked up right now because of lies and bullshit. No matter, regardless of what you think about the two candidates, it doesn't matter. The shit that's being said about both of them, half of it's true, half of it's not, and it's being allowed to permeate everything we do. Enough. Don't listen to people. Form your own opinions. You want to listen to a candidate speak? You know what? Walk away. Go, I don't think that guy's full of shit. All right? Your vote is lost. Go to somebody else. All right? But when you have people that are manipulating your mind, they own you. You cannot be owned by anybody. And that's my whole point. What's the next point on here? About Israel? Go to with Israel?
Yeah, do not partner with the agenda against Israel.
All right. You know what? I don't know where he's coming from with that, but I can tell you one thing. This is bad on both sides. All right? This is terrible what's going on both sides. All right? Israel's got checkpoints all over the place, but they also get bombed on a daily basis over there. Car bombs, carjackings, bombs coming in on kites now. Okay? Bombs coming in on mopeds. All right? But that's Israel's fault because they fucking fell asleep here. All right? So my whole point is, again, we're being led to believe this one's right, this one's wrong. Okay? I worked with an Arab gentleman, and I asked him the same question. And he looked at me and goes, don't talk about what you don't know about. And I said, why would you say that? He goes, because Israel gets bombed on a daily basis. You can believe that Israel is doing this, Israel's doing that. They are the ones getting bombed. And they're getting bombed for a couple of reasons. Number one, their association with the United States of America. Again, the United States of America manipulating the world. All right?
There's a bunch of people who hate us.
I don't care. I'm trying to give you my points.
I wasn't saying that against you. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I wouldn't get in bed with him. There's good people on both sides. You got people in the Gaza Strip that are dying right now. They're fucking dying because of what Israel's doing to them. They didn't want
Quote
this.
Trump.
Are
you good?
I'm good. What's the next point?
They're bad hombres.
That was the last point.
No, the last point. What was the last point you made?
Be resolute to determine your courage and bravery, or be on the losing side. Weak-kneed and limp-wristed leadership is being replaced.
Well, I can't speak about that's a matter of determination. It was weak, need, and I mean, right now we have a very weak president. Okay, we had a weak president under Carter. Okay, we had a weak president under George Bush. He was very weak. Okay, Bill Clinton. Say what you want about Bill Clinton. Okay, you can say what you want about him. He wasn't weak. He was stupid. There's a difference. All right, he did things to hurt himself, and he lied about it. And that's where he got in trouble. Okay. Again, if things were different, there was a Democratic Congress, he wouldn't have got in trouble. It would have swept under the rug, whatever. All right. So there's my point.
Well, she didn't leave a stain on her shirt.
It's not good to lie, but a blowjob has really nothing to do with politics.
It doesn't, but he lied to Congress, and that's what the whole thing was about.
That's
If he would have came out and said, you know what? If he would have came out and said, you know what? I already talked to my wife about it. She slobbed my knob. That was the end of it. That was it. All right. But
he got
did.
a job on the
chose,
job. That's
he chose to lie. A little
There's
there,
a wonderful
little there.
picture of Bill Clinton in the Oval Office sitting at the desk, and it's like there are two people in this picture, and one of them is not John Cena.
Well,
that's
okay.
good.
Before we go to a break, there is one date here that he says watch for. It's April 8th, which is Passover. And I will explain that when we come back from break. And then we'll explain that, and we'll talk about the Four Horsemen.
Does that have anything to do with the Book of Revelation?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Passover,
Yes.
April 8th.
Yes.
Gotta find me some lamb's blood. Gonna put that right on my door. I'm the firstborn, goddammit. I'm the one who's in danger here.
We will be right back. And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout.
adamandeve.com.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real podcast and our parent company Green Hour Media, then visit greenhourmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenhourmedia.org. Welcome back to our episode about the Book of Revelations and end time prophecies. Now, I'm going to get into this one little thread here. It's a thread. This guy is connecting dots, in which I know is going to blow these two fuckers' heads off. Now, what we're going to do here, ready? You guys ready? Hey,
I'm ready.
focus, old man. Focus. You listening?
Focus.
I'm ready.
Come on, focus, as Joshua says. So
Yeah.
I was talking about one specific date that this guy has. One specific date that he was asked about in 2024 to look out for. Ready?
Yes.
April 8th, 2024, which is Passover. But apparently on that date, there's going to be another great American eclipse. When we look at the numbers of the date, April, which is 4, 8, we have to look at Exodus 4:8. Then it will be, if they do not believe you, nor heed the message of the first sign, that they may believe the message of the later sign. So this eclipse goes over 15 states. It's American eclipse. It enters Texas at Eagle Pass and Uvalde. Eagle Pass, word on the rapture of the church. Right? So he's talking about the rapture. So the X is the Hebrew letter Tev, meaning a sign. So apparently it's going to create an X in the United States. This eclipse. You don't sound...
Keep going.
X is Greek for Christ. The Passover eclipse of 2024 puts an X over Texas at Kerrville, home of the Coming King Prayer Garden and famed Empty Cross. Passover eclipse of 2024 also puts an X over over America in Little Egypt area of Tennessee at Salem Road. Remember 7 years ago, the shadow went over 7 cities of Salem. Salem, peace, prophet, king, whatever. Yeah. So basically he's saying that this eclipse has something to do with the book of Revelation.
It has something to do with it. You're so fucking specific.
And he goes, in our high priest in the order of, I don't know what the fucking guy's name is, coming again in this time frame.
I thought he came.
Sign of Jonah the prophet, repent, judgment is at hand. So
I'm confused by the whole thing.
He's saying that an eclipse is happening.
It is happening.
On Passover.
On Passover.
But it is happening. Isn't that the day
yes,
it's happening?
Yeah, that's
it's happening
sure.
on Passover.
And that's supposed to mean something.
And it's going to create an X as it, like the path of the eclipse is going to create an X over certain cities that apparently have different things to do, like Texas at Kerrville, home of the coming King Prayer Garden and famed Empty Cross. Also puts an X over America in Little Egypt area of Tennessee at Salem Road.
Well, you mentioned Uvalde and
well, yeah, that's where it starts.
Right. Well, they're pretty significant places.
Yeah. So they're saying that this is everything that it crosses over has something to do with the Book of Revelations, because Salem is peace.
Salem is short for Jerusalem.
They go Salem, peace. Melchizedek was prophet, priest, and king of Salem. The number 24 priest prayer encircling. And that was in the Book of Revelation. So
I'd have to see more. I mean, it's confusing to me.
You're talking again about taking something that's happening now and saying, look, it has an alternative meaning. It has something that can be done with anything. That can be done with it. First of all, an eclipse happens every single year. Somewhere on the earth,
well, this is the American eclipse. That's what he's talking about.
Who gives a shit? What's the point of it? Who gives a shit where it is? It's happening in America. What about the time it happened over the countries in Africa?
Well,
what about the time it happened over South America and crossing over cities throughout Peru and Brazil? What does it matter?
Yeah, but I think he's specifically talking about the places here now. Can't talk about stuff like that because that's not happening. He is talking about.
Well, he's talking about where it's
going to be
it's,
now.
You know what it is? Like, you're sitting there and like putting necks on like, oh, these are significant places because the meaning of those significant places resemble or talk about something in the Book of Revelation.
And it happens. It's happened before. Every time that there's been a North American eclipse, there is some preacher or minister or someone who is a religious leader going, look at where the eclipse is happening. It's a sign. It's an end time sign. You're going to get a full eclipse over this city, and this city, as it was vaguely mentioned in a book in the Bible, means this. This is not new. And that's what time and time again, this has happened, but nothing's happened. You get me? Like, I understand. Like, okay, it's going to pass over and significant town names, whatever, but nothing's happened before.
It's stupid to be specific anyway, because how many times have they seen an eclipse and they're like, oh my God, it's the end times?
I mean, probably before, like, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but probably before, like, science was invented.
Well, not that science was invented, but the idea.
You know what I mean? Like,
modern man, basically.
I'll give you an example. When Christopher Columbus needed to sail back and he was down in the Caribbean, he needed supplies to get back to Europe, and they told him, we're not giving you any of the supplies. We don't have enough to share. But at the time, Christopher Columbus knew that in a couple of days there would be a solar eclipse. So he said, listen, if you don't give me my shit that I need to get back, my God is going to bring a wrath upon you. And because the solar eclipse happened, he goes, look, that's my God. He doesn't like it. You guys going to beam me some shit or else he's going to burn you down. And because the indigenous people of the Caribbean didn't know any better, they gave him all of what he needed so he can get back. There was nothing that was going to happen. He used fear and science to put these people into giving him shit to get back to Europe because he didn't have enough supplies. That's what happened.
So you're not putting any.
I'm not putting any faith
or weight into this.
And with an eclipse that happens
into anything. Apparently, into anything. What this guy says.
No, I don't. I don't like people who use religion as a point of fear, because I think that goes against the idea of religion. I think the idea of religion is to show you, and I'm not talking about anything, but not Catholicism, not Hinduism, not Judaism, nothing. The idea of religion should be up for the individual to take that stuff in, and how does it mean to you? What do you want to believe in? And that's why I don't believe you need to say, like, you're indoctrinated to one religion. That's it. That's all I believe in. You need. I think it's healthy to look at other things and go, what's going on with this religion? What's going on in that religion? Take those. You don't have to believe in what they're saying, but at least have the open mind to read those things and go, they make a good point. Or I see how it kind of matches up with something in my religion, how there's a viewpoint that can be shared. That's what I think the purpose of religion should be. An idea of what you should be able to, how you should be able to live your life without hurting anybody, and living your life authentically the way you believe you should live. Like I said to you earlier, it comes down to the one thing, the golden rule: treat someone else the way you want to be treated. If you don't want this to happen to you, don't fucking do it to somebody else.
All right, Dad.
That was kind of long-winded as far as what you're saying. I don't. I mean, you talk about X over certain places and stuff like that. Again,
I mean, it's a lot. You know, in
needs to be seen.
In my thing, like for this, something like that is more. Fuck, it's so hard. Like to me, it's like reading Angels and Demons or like one of those books. You know, it's like it feels more like a story that could be interesting if you put some context to it than something that could actually be true.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, I mean, again, I'm going to say it loud and clear. Let's wait until the 8th and find out. You might think it's all low and hooey. You might be right, but
well, it's not like that. Okay, what we know for sure that one, the eclipse is going to happen.
Correct.
Like we know that for
Right.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
We know that these particular, now it's not just like the city, but these particular states are in the path of the eclipse.
Correct.
Where you'll see it fully from these particular states. So if it does happen, it's not like, to me, like it's not like, oh, you know, it's a sign from God that this, like, it's the end times because it's passing over these particular areas in which there's I don't even know how wide the shadow of an eclipse is.
Well, it's significantly wide, but its length is much longer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's 100 miles wide, let's just put it like that. Like,
Mhm.
again, I don't know the like scientifical width of an eclipse. It's not just passing over that particular spot. You know,
Right. Other people can see it as well, depending on their vantage.
you know, it's so for him to sound like, well, it's passing over this church, and the reason it's passing over this church to me is a little empty-headed.
And when you factor in that this country is founded on the idea of religious freedom and freedom from persecution, and we can go anywhere we want and set up a church and say, this is what I believe in, and this is what I want to practice in this place, as long as you have the right, obviously the right way of doing it, you're going to have an eclipse line up with different places of faith
I guarantee
along the beam.
I guarantee if you
along
look
the
at
eclipse.
at the path of the eclipse, I guarantee there's thousands of churches.
Let me put it like this. There is, I believe it's in Texas, there is 5 Outback Steakhouses. This is going to sound weird. Just stay with me.
Not sponsored.
There are 5 Outback. I believe it's either Texas or it's DC. 90%
but
sure.
just 200 Buckies.
That's true. I think
Not
it's
sponsored.
I think it's Dallas, but I can put it up later or whatever. My point is there's 5 of them. And when you look at the Outback Steakhouses on a map, it looks like a pentagram because they're like at the right intervals,
Mhm.
right? And people go, well, what are they doing at Outback Steakhouse? Could it be like, time out. These are 5 locations over a big area, and you're connecting dots, and you're going, there must be something there.
It
It's
was
not
the
like
same thing with Palm Olive. They did the same thing with
yeah.
that.
I mean, like
Well,
if something
I mean-
like Washington D.C.
Yeah,
where
that's- I
the
was about
streets
to-
were laid out specifically,
Yeah, that's definitely
that's
pentagram.
done by design.
Sorry to tell you.
And that building in San Diego, that's a
Swastika?
Yeah.
swastika.
That's an architectural mishap. My point is, when you start looking for patterns, you're going to find them. And how you interpret it can raise fear. And out of fear, people do desperate shit.
People are generally afraid, Anthony.
I understand. I get that.
People
but
are
like,
afraid
like I mentioned before, you
fear
have
sells.
families who get wiped out because they attended the wrong sermon one weekend where the priest was talking about the apocalypse, and here's another sign,
Well, that's
and
the
then
thing.
they go home and feed their kids,
Fear-
tainted
It's not
Jello.
the priest's fault, though. You
Fear.
can't blame it on a priest.
Hold on.
I have a question.
What's up, Josh?
Why is it that this person is sitting there talking about an eclipse for no good fucking reason? Like, is it an indication that something bad is going to happen?
It's for his eyes, it's a prophetic event that is going to happen in 2024. That's going to signal end times because it's happening on Passover, and because the dates have a significance with 4 and 2, and it's passing over these particular areas in which line up with events in the Bible, in Revelation.
Well, here's another question. Has anyone sat there and done homework and tried to do the astrology alignment and stuff like that and go back and see if it was recorded that an eclipse happened on Easter or Passover, as it says,
I guarantee
in
it's
previous
happened
years?
before.
But hold on a second. Even if that's
What's the point of it?
Yeah, but even if it has happened, which I'm sure it has.
What's the point?
Like, this is a natural phenomenon, just like the breeze blows, just like the ocean goes in and out through the tide. This is something that it can't be avoided because the moon just passed in the right angle between the earth and the sun. That's it. There's nothing. This is nature.
Well, according to the Bible.
This is
Okay,
something that
first of all.
happens in nature. Okay. Several years ago, my birthday fell on Easter. Josh, hate to put this out there, it was the day he lost his virginity. Do I put any the Easter in my birthday?
Wait,
Josh,
did you fuck the Easter Bunny?
No, I didn't fuck these.
It was like
You didn't
that.
fuck Anthony, did you? Just wondering.
But like
Happy birthday!
it's
Here's
like
my eggs.
these events happened. These events happened on a day that has religious significance. Therefore, I would be insane to sit there and say my birthday's on Easter this year. I'm connecting myself with Jesus in some sort of way. Like, it would be not.
You
Everyone
want to put
look.
yourself behind a rock?
My point is, everyone look at me and go, "You're fucking nuts. You were just born that day. It has nothing to do with you and Jesus. There's no significance, right?"
And you can't even make a connection like that. Like, to Tony's point, if he wanted to make that type of a connection, our birthdays fall on different days every year. The calendar's never exactly the same.
Well,
Like, if I'm correct, I was born on a Monday.
but that's why he's saying it's. Granted, again, like what we've been saying, you turn around and say okay, it's lining up perfectly in the year 2024, which has significance in the Bible, and well, the 2-4 have significance in the Bible.
So does 7. So does 19. So does there's a bunch of numbers.
So
that have
does every
significance.
single fucking
Again, I
letter.
agree. I think it's just a little, like I said, for me, it's more of okay, these are happenstances. I don't know if that's a word, but
happenstance. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
okay, with me in English. Anything to add right now, Dad? Before we get to the end of the episode, I do want to talk about the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse because I think number one, they're
it could go
badass.
on. The only thing I want to add something like that is I can't blame religion for this. I got to blame the people who follow the religion.
Well, the
Because
people
I
created
mean,
religion.
you go through life, when you hear something, when somebody tells you something, you automatically in your mind, you're sitting there going, okay, I believe you, or it's horse shit. There's no middle ground there. All right. Some people may say, well, you know what? Let's see if you're right. Okay. I don't fully believe you, but I don't fully disbelieve you. Let's see something. Okay. But then when
That's
the
fair.
pattern just keeps coming over and over again, where Billy Bob Joe Ray down in Alabama somewhere decides he's going to run a church and he gives you a specific date and the world's coming to an end.
We did that. We covered that in an episode of
Right.
Is This
And
Real?
then it doesn't happen.
first episode
And
of
then
the
a week later, after the event is you don't hear from this guy anymore, or he upsets you. You know what? God was mad because I alerted him. So now the new date is blah 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 blah
Yep.
blah, and it doesn't happen again.
Move that
The
goalpost.
credibility just keeps going and going and going and going.
No, I agree with you.
Okay, so I gotta blame people, and this goes back to the other episodes that I say, how can you blindly follow anybody because they can get you
Fear.
killed? Okay.
Fear.
Fear is one thing, but
no.
like this is the season of cults. When you're finding a cult, when you're following a cult leader, that's not fear. It's a choice.
No, but it is fear. The reason why I say
you don't get involved with him, you're afraid of him.
no, because you have these people who, again, I know you guys disagreed with me, but you have these people who are already weak-minded to begin with,
Absolutely.
and find someone
99% of the world.
and find someone who's to them making sense. And when he turns around and goes, "If you don't do this," I mean, again, you could sit there and go through religion because, again, there's a lot of similarities between religion and cults. But you could sit there and say, if you don't do this, whatever it might be, you're not getting into heaven.
Let me ask
And
you
so,
that.
hold on. Some people are afraid of that alone.
Well, if some people are afraid of somebody else telling you that they're not getting into heaven, don't believe what the religion is preaching.
Can't say that when you are indoctrinated into that religion, you are raised in that
Well,
religion.
you're right.
From a little person, and you believe everything that has been spoon fed to you your entire life. When they say the apocalypse is coming, some people go, "Oh shit!"
Some
Yeah.
people. Now, getting back to the cult situation, they're not afraid. What they are is they're looking for somebody to lead them. They're looking for somebody to take charge because they
but
don't want to be
it depends.
responsible
It depends
for their own
on
actions.
both, though, because it's not even that they don't want to be responsible. They're looking for something to believe in.
You're
and they
right.
want to believe, and it turns from wanting to believe in something to fear of not doing what this person says because of X actions.
Okay, so to my point, do you blame the person or do you blame?
You blame both,
There's fault to go around on both sides of it.
and that goes with religion also.
You have the fault of the person who is standing at the pulpit screaming or filling the minds of the listeners with these horrific ideas of punishment, and you also, to a degree, have to blame the person listening and going, does this make sense? And is this something that's going to hurt me, or is there something other? How much of this can possibly be true?
Can I put in a third
Yeah, sure.
thing? So to everyone's point, I think you're right in every sense. But one thing I'm thinking that you guys may not realize, or maybe you're just overlooking, is the fact that when it comes to cults or religions, it's not so much, it's kind of like a devil's advocate thing, but it's not so much the fear for certain people. I'm not saying for a lot of people. For certain people, it's not so much fear or whatever. It's more of, I could say, having a sense of belonging, something
Acceptance.
to
Yeah,
do,
exactly.
to actually find a purpose in life. And
be
they
validated.
feel like the cult or the religion fulfills something inside them that gives them a purpose.
I agree with you. I do.
Very true, Joshua.
At the same time, in everything that we've talked about so far, because we have one more episode this season to do. Well, one more episode of the season to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's an underlying thread of fear
Mm-hmm.
in both religion and in cult activity.
Let me ask you a question. Both of you. You both went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
At any time, did you ever go to mass and a priest said, "You believe what I tell you? You're going to hell."
No.
Not in our
Those are exact words. I'm looking for that statement.
Well, you
You say
can't.
yes or no.
But that's not it's a blanket thing. You can't put it in that.
But I'm
because-
asking
very
yes or no.
It's a very
It's, yeah,
the
it's
answer is
very
no
no.
because the priests at our church never framed that question that way.
You would sit there and turn around and say something. Number one, when you read the Bible, it puts fear into you by itself. You have the Old Testament in which God was a wrathful but a wrathful being, destroying the world, killing people left and right, renewing the world in some parts of the Bible, whether you believe it's real or not.
Mhm.
That puts fear into people by itself.
Right.
And then obviously in the New Testament, besides this one, I mean, God's more laid back.
God, calm down. Maybe it's because he had the kid. I don't know.
That's
But-
exactly what happened.
But
Maybe he smoked some weed.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like in religion and everything
Nothing
you
about
do,
the Bible that's consistent.
and everything you do in any religion. And again, there's a lot more extreme religions out there than others. And everything you do, you could sit there just by saying, well, if you don't do this, God's gonna look at you in a light, and you're gonna have to say a prayer and get get on God's good side again.
Yeah, they don't. It wasn't ever said to us directly.
You're not going to tell a child you're going to hell.
Yeah, if you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. It was more
I mean, we tell children to go to hell.
It was more of the. It was more of the idea of like, hey, someday you'll be in front of God's throne and He's going to judge you.
Right.
In every little thing you do.
And then you sit there and go, oh fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Right?
a fear
Or-
tactic by
Right,
itself.
but that's we grew up in a Catholic school. You go. I mean, granted, there's only 14 members of it now, but someone like the Westboro Baptist Church, I guarantee you,
70. There's 70.
there's 70. I guarantee you, those people are going, no, you do this or you go to hell.
Mhm.
Like there is no like
That's my point.
that
That's-
when religion and preachers, and cultists, whatever you want to say, when they start taking that approach, then I'm like, this is mind
that's
control
what's
and
fine,
abuse.
Like I said, there's extreme, and then you have regular, and I think there's a common thread with everything in here that is a fear-based tactic. Now
I
I
can't
don't
say
know.
you're wrong, but
I don't know
to
if
me,
it's.
I gotta blame certain people.
I don't know if it's to keep people in or just be a good person or you're not going to heaven, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like that's what it is. I mean, it's
Up on a mountain where no one was around, God gave Moses the 10 Commandments.
so. Let's get into the Four Horsemen and
Yeah,
the
let's
Seven
get that real
Seals,
quick because
Yeah,
we're
come on.
pushing.
and then we'll end this episode. So,
Mhm.
what are the Four Horsemen? I mean, we have a picture up here. We have, just a picture. It's an
Mhm.
artist rendition
The
that I use
metal
as
as
background.
fuck.
Yeah, it's an
Calm
artist
down.
rendition because we don't have any photos.
No, I mean, I tried. I tried. Okay, but that means I would have to break the seals myself, and I'm not.
Yeah, pestilence, war, death, and
Yeah.
Conquest.
conquest.
Yeah, so the Four Horsemen correspond with the first four seals opened by the Lamb as he opens the scroll of judgment in heaven.
I
That
thought
is
it
in-
was war, death, pestilence, and famine.
Well, conquest, war, famine, and death. But it seems to be changing whatever you.
Well, this one's the
Very
first.
color coordinated.
The first, again, they sit there and they correspond to seals. So the first seal that's broken, which is the first horseman, likely refers to the Antichrist. He is the false imitator of the true Christ, and we talked about Antichrist before, who is associated with a white horse. At the beginning of the tribulation, the Antichrist will be given authority, a crown, and he will wage war, conquering all who oppose him. The description agrees with Daniel's vision of the little horn that rises to power and is bent on conquest. This horn was waging war against the holy people and defeating them. That was in Daniel 7:21, in Revelations 13:7. Now that would be the one on the right side, the white horse with the bow.
Mm-hmm.
That would be him. Oh, this shit's about to go down. The second seal, which would be, let me read here.
War, red horse.
Yeah, when the lamb opens the second seal, the second living creature says, "Come." John looks and calm down. John looks and dutiful records, and he sees there another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from earth and to make men slay each other. To him was given a large sword. The second horseman refers to terrible warfare that will break out in the end times. Now,
Keep going.
those wars will include the Antichrist rise to power, which requires the downfall of 3 other kings, and possibly the battle of God and Magog.
You say MAGA, I'm kicking you in the balls.
Well, let's just put it like this.
Donald Trump's not the fucking Antichrist.
No, he said that before.
I can,
Go
go ahead.
when we were talking about the prophecy of the popes, I believe it was in the prophecy of the popes, right?
Yes.
We were talking about the last pope being the Antichrist.
Papa Peter the Roman.
Yes. Does that obviously that coincides with this, right?
Possibly.
Possibly. I mean, the Antichrist would be Peter the Roman. I mean, obviously.
No. Peter the Roman ushers in the Antichrist. He's like,
I-
this is my guy. He's
I'm
pretty
gonna
good.
I'm gonna go on a limb here, and this is we're talking about predictions and everything, and I'm not predicting it. My feeling about the Antichrist right now, and you have the Pope situation that we still haven't resolved yet. Okay, I believe the Antichrist is alive. I believe the Antichrist is very, very active, and leading people at this point. I believe, see if you can guess who I'm thinking of here, Anthony.
Elon Musk.
No. I'm going to me, the Antichrist was somebody who was going to be very handsome.
Mark Zuckerberg.
He's going to be a leader of people. He's going to seem like he's got all the answers. He's going to smile. He's going to be joking.
Aaron Rodgers?
Okay. He's going to be,
John Cena?
he's going to make people love him because he's a great talker. Okay.
You talking about Zelensky from Ukraine?
No.
Okay.
No. He's a leader of people right now, and he's a leader of people in this country. And that's my opinion on who the Antichrist is going to
Governor
be.
of California.
Okay.
You said the same thing for the dickhead down in Florida. You said the same thing for DeSantis.
I never said DeSantis was going to be the Antichrist.
No. Joey just said he's talking about the governor of Florida. You're talking about Gavin Newsom. You said it's the same thing for
The only
DeSantis.
difference is one wears the high heels.
Both young, both people love him because that's my guy. They elected him into the chair of power.
Okay. For everybody listening, these are your words. I believe in who I believe is going to be the Antichrist. You may or may not have said his name right now. Okay. And off the air, I'll tell you exactly who I think it is because of what is going down and what is being done. Huh?
Nothing.
Okay. So that's my take on the Antichrist.
Okay. And then we have famine riding on the black horse, and then the pale rider sat death, and hell followed behind him.
This guy was pretty good because a lot of that stuff's going on.
That's been going on forever. This is.
I don't have to say anything anymore.
The Four Horsemen are imaginary.
really don't.
They were part of this prophecy that John had. And look at the thing: conquest, war, famine, death. All these things have been happening since the dawn of time.
And he's telling you they're not right.
But no, it's not about being right or wrong. Death is a part of life. Death is a part of life. You can't get rid of it. Doesn't matter whether there's a religious
throw that
connotation.
one out. Is war a part of life? Is famine a part of life?
Yes.
War
Is
is
pestilence?
absolutely part of life.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it
war
is.
is a chosen.
War
is chosen.
Conquest has happened. Oh, you're sorry. It is chosen, but we do it in the name. We do everything like the adage goes. The path to hell is paved with good intentions. We do it with the best intentions. Alexander the Great conquered everything. Fucking Attila the Hun conquered everything. Genghis Khan conquered everything. You have conquerors throughout history, conquering war, famine. All of those things just go with human nature. It's what we've done to ourselves since the beginning of time. Does it make it right or wrong? Depends on what side of the sword you're on.
So far, you know what? Look, you can think any way you want. Obviously,
We did it in this country.
Okay.
Taking it when Manifest Destiny, we moved, told the Indians, you don't belong here anymore. We take your land. We'll pay you off. Trail of Tears. You go here.
Fucking Christ.
Put you on reservations. We conquered their lands.
Wrong.
We didn't. Oh well.
I mean,
you
you
don't
could
like
also-
us? Here's a bunch of blankets with smallpox.
Again,
That's famine.
They
That's
turned
pestilence.
Around, but
How wrong was it that they
Okay,
accepted 44 beads for Manhattan?
Doesn't matter.
Is that our fault?
No. So you're right. As long as we
First of
fuck
all,
them, if they're
hold
too
on.
dumb to realize they're being
Hold
fucked,
on.
then it's okay.
Wait.
It's the way the world,
Hold on.
homie.
So is war. So is famine.
War
so
is
is conquer.
chosen.
So is death.
How come there was no war under Trump?
Oh my God! First,
No, that's my point.
Well,
Weak
hold
leaders
on.
will give you war.
Wait, hold on. Before we get into this,
Under Trump.
hold on. Number one, there was war under Trump.
Oh.
Was it started by us? But people were still killing each other over the Middle East. People were still killing each other in Africa.
And he
People were
shut
still...
it down.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He killed ISIS
What about
and
what's
took
go-
ISIS completely
No.
out of the...
No,
What about
that
what's
was-
going on down in Haiti? You think that started yesterday? Or how about anything
has
in
nothing-
Africa?
Enough with the Trump thing. It has nothing to do with Trump. It has nothing.
You guys don't see what I'm trying to make a point here.
You're making a point that one leader, one time throughout history, decided to pull his troops and say, we're not going to have a war while I'm in office. One time, one person did that.
Because that leader was not a weak leader.
I
That
don't
leader
give a
was
fuck.
somebody who
It's
knew
not
what he was
about-
doing.
But it's not about
No.
being weak
First
or
of all,
strong.
No.
Yeah, I do.
Again,
believe he
we're
was.
not going to get into this Trump debate thing because one, Trump.
It's a moot
If
point.
you want to sit there, Trump said we're going to do this or I'm going to kill you. That's exactly what his point was. I will take you out if you don't do what I say. And people were scared of that because he wasn't a politician and he wasn't any of that.
really
And he
whacked.
said that.
Whacked.
It's not whacked. It's true. That has nothing to do with what we're saying.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
How doesn't that? How doesn't
Because
war?
these
When I
four-
say to you, war is a choice, and we're not being in war because people are not making
But
that
do you know,
choice.
do you know why? Do you know why it's a choice was given to us? If you want to believe it in the religious aspect, the choice was given to us by God.
Free will.
Free will.
Okay, that's fine.
So man chose to do this. It is part of man's history. We choose to do that. People arguing. That's how war starts off. It's by people sitting here disagreeing and then escalates to something. That's how war is. Conquer is what people do.
Unless they're stupid enough to buy in the Kool-Aid, then it's okay.
But it's not even a part of that. Like when I turn around and say this is just something that man does, right or wrong throughout history.
Mhm.
It's what it is. Do we do that today? Not onto the aspects of what we were doing 50 plus years ago.
Mhm.
We could sit there and turn around and say, look, we kind of learned from our mistakes. No one's sitting there trying to legally conquer, well, it's not legal, but no one's sitting here trying to conquer other countries as far as we know that's bad. Someone tried to do that 60 years ago,
So
which
war.
is why
What
we
you,
had
what
World
the
War
bottom
II.
line with you is telling me war is necessary.
It's not necessary. It's just something that happens.
Is it avoidable?
War
depends.
Depends on the conflict.
No,
depends.
it can't be depends. It either yes or no. It's either avoidable or it's not avoidable.
So I have a question. So
is it part of our
Dad.
nature?
It
Dad,
depends
Dad.
on if you're being oppressed or if you're being or doing the oppression. If you're coming into my house that I've established, like, this is my place. I live here. I love this place. And you went, no. My grandma lived in that house 75 years ago. I want that house back. I'm going to march in that house and take it. No. Fuck you. I'm allowed to defend myself.
All right,
No,
let me,
no,
Hold on, let
no.
Josh talk.
Go ahead,
No.
Josh. Good.
To a point, war can be avoidable. The problem is if one side or the other doesn't want to avoid it. That's the point you're missing. You can sit there and
I'm
have
not missing
political.
it.
No. You can have political leaders or any person in power who will sit there and try to bring peace. The problem is the people that are on either side, if they don't actually want peace, then the war is going to happen regardless.
So let me ask you this. See, this is what I have a problem with. You're telling me that one side, first of all, is it better to get along with everyone, to try to bring everybody into to the table and to talk to people and say, look, we have common differences. How can I understand you better?
You can try to do that. You
Okay,
can try to
so-
bring. No, listen.
I'm listening,
You
but
can
it's making no
try.
sense to me.
You can try to aim for peace all you want. You can have people of multiple backgrounds who want peace. The problem is there's always lingering hatred. There's always lingering ignorance.
There's always someone
There's
who doesn't want
stereotypes. There's
There's
always
always
people
That's
somebody
fine, but there are
who
consequences for that.
don't
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, no,
that's
but
the
that's
point
war.
that happens with war.
Okay.
You can have people aiming for peace all you want. You can do that today in today's world. But there's always going to be people behind the scenes that were like, nah, fuck that. Kill those people. This is our
Not even
land or whatever the
Well,
piece is, or we're going to go to war because we want to make a profit. There's literally different avenues behind the scenes that
Hold
will
on.
cause it, even
Do you
if
smell something?
people want it.
I don't know.
Anybody smell popcorn?
Well, there was all that.
smell popcorn?
Smell popcorn?
There's all that. Teresa's probably cooking something.
Yeah.
There's all of that plus.
No, that doesn't smell like that. Let's get on with it. 'Cause I wanna
There's
see
all
what's
that
in there.
plus the idea of. I don't care. Like it's the value. This is why I question the idea of morality, because when you do have a leader who turns around and goes, I don't care about those people. I don't care about the lives that I'm taking. That doesn't mean, like, you can sit there and say, okay, don't kill. That's wrong. Well, that's your point of view. If you have something I want, the only way I can get is to kill you, and you don't value life, you
look.
wage war and you take it.
Because I don't know how long this booth has lasted any minute.
It's 88 minutes.
We're going to end this episode right here,
I
and
just ripped ass.
we have one more episode left this season. Please go to all of our social medias. Just last thing, do you believe in the Book of Revelation?
Yeah, it depends for me. I'm on the fence on that one.
Yes, no.
It does, in my opinion, it does nothing to do with 2024.
All right, Joshua.
Absolutely fucking not. You already know my answer. But I am gonna say it anyway. No, I don't.
Okay, and I'm in that area also. So please go to all of our social medias. Is this real PC? .com has all of our social medias, and our TikTok does also. Thank you guys, and good night. Hey everybody, it's JC3, and I just want to say thank you for listening to all of our shows. If you want to keep up to date with everything Is This Real or Green Hour Media, go to our social media accounts. At Is This Real PC for TikTok, at Green Hour Media for YouTube, Is This Real Podcast for Facebook, and at Is This Real Podcast, all one word, for Instagram. You will be able to keep up with everything Is This Real or Green Hour Media.